Welcome to the second season of Collective Podcast.
Second, it's the third season.
First off, it's the fourth season. That's the most important thing.
What are you talking about,
I was
Jerry?
just trying to fact check myself, but yes.
He was making sure I was awake. That's what it was.
So let's hope I get this right. We're on episode 3 of the third and fourth season.
Yes. It's the episode 3A of the third season and then episode 3B of the fourth season.
Well, in case we fuck everything else up, there's one thing I want to get right, and that's with our next guest, great artist from Staten Island, good friend of ours through the Fallucca family.
Oh, God.
Nicolle Fallucca is here with us.
The more normal Fallucca.
On the record.
All right.
And that's where the conversation starts.
No.
All right.
I'm kidding, guys. I'm abnormal.
So Jimmy.
We love you, Jimmy.
Jimmy was supposed to be here, but he's working, unfortunately, so he'll be here a month later to talk about, I don't know, something. Maybe in a couple of weeks it'll be the 30th anniversary of some guy that he likes, so I'll have him on to
this
talk
guy
about.
named Mark. I don't
Yeah,
know.
some guy named Mark. I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe we'll have him on for the 30th of whatever that guy's name is.
That was funny.
So Nicole's a great artist. She's been doing a lot of work. Her art dates back to, I'm going to embarrass everybody except Jerry here, dates back to the old, I think this is the first time I'm mentioning it on the podcast, the old KCW days.
Oh, yeah.
Kensington Championship Wrestling. We used to do backyard wrestling.
I was also the ring announcer, too.
Yeah, she was the ring announcer.
Briefly.
She was the ring announcer, but she also, more importantly, she did the posters for the...
When I used to draw them like they were a bad copy of Dragon Ball Z.
Or Ed, and Eddie.
Ed and Eddie.
I'm assuming that was the first platform that you've got pretty much everything from.
It was pretty much the beginning.
Yeah.
Pretty much the beginning of my starting of my art career, but it really wasn't technically a career. It was just for shits and giggles. But then, when KCW as time went by with it, I wanted to get better with the artwork of all the characters and all the wrestlers and stuff. So
if anybody wants to have a good laugh, just go on the Caputo Shadow YouTube page. KCW's there. Have a good laugh. I can hear Joe on the island yelling at me now. No. But whatever. So, but every poster
If he doesn't like it, we'll wrestle him.
Yeah. Well, every poster, me and Jimmy would go, okay, Nicolle, this is the big push of the match or whatever we're doing. Draw, and she'd just draw. And then we'd be like, it's great. And then we'd post it on back in the days of MySpace. When MySpace was big. We'd have it up on MySpace.
That was the Facebook of our time.
Absolutely.
The best poster. But the one there was a poster that I made. It was always a poster I made than a poster that Nicolle made. So I would do the Photoshop poster.
Yeah.
There was one that it had the big face of Giuseppe on it.
Oh yeah.
And it was overlooking New York City.
Yes.
And it said it said whatever pay-per-view it was. It might have been Starcase, and it said New York has a new problem, and it was Giuseppe's head over it, because he was our big beast monster or whatever.
He was our Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. So I'm curious, out of everyone that used to draw emulating wrestling culture from KCW, who do you have the most fun drawing back then?
With KCW?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have one in particular. I mean, I enjoy drawing everybody. I mean, it was just all about being a part of the KCW family and being a part of telling the story behind the posters and the matches and the storyline behind each match. It really don't have a favorite.
Which poster was your favorite? I can tell you which one was my favorite.
I definitely have a favorite poster that I drew, and it was when my brother James, or Jim Sin, as he likes to be called in KCW, was holding the head of Lou. Remember
that was my idea.
That was your idea?
That was my idea.
I actually made his eyes look like...
Great artists have great influences.
That was my idea. Not to get into the story, because that's going to embarrass people on the podcast, but it was me and Lou weren't getting along.
Sorry, Lou.
Me and Lou weren't getting along in real life, and I was put his head on his freaking...
And it made him
Vince, put his head on a fucking...
And I made James's face look like Vegeta, with the eyebrows, the thick eyebrows.
Yeah. My favorite poster was... It's me backed up against the wall going no,
oh, yeah, that's my second.
And it's the shadow of Jimmy just overlooking me.
I gotta redraw
that's
these photos.
That's
You're making me want to redraw these photos.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta redo them. But those are the best. And then the one you made that I like, that had the show that never happened.
Which
was
one?
the second reunion show that never happened. The one that had like the KCW logo and all of us around
Oh
it.
yeah, with all the
Yeah.
characters. Yeah, with
Yeah.
Wasn't that like 2013?
That was supposed to be 2013. We were supposed to have it in your backyard at your old house, Jerry.
Yes.
That never happened.
You're
It
welcome.
never happened. I don't even remember what the matches were. Everyone was just like, just do another one. I'm like, all right, let's just do another one. Whatever.
That should be like the promo for the. Let's just do another
Yeah.
one.
All right, what was called like the one and only, or so, the logo was like the last stand or like the final showdown or whatever the hell it was called. Even though like even though like the joking around was we were going to do a third one with a tagline, we lied about the last one being the last one.
Was there ever a cartoon character, Nicolle, like, you know, that you've grown up with and you really adored over the years, and you're just like, wow, I want to like emulate this as kind of like my first sense of drawing?
Well, my first cartoon show that I enjoyed so much, and I still to this day, was Ed, Ed, and Eddie from Cartoon Network. I adore the show. I enjoy the characters. I enjoy there were three guys that were basically like the Three Stooges, but they were all different in their own way. And it was basically, it was one of my favorite shows I still grow up watching. And then as time went by, you know, I watched Yu-Gi-Oh! And I enjoyed anime. Like I started practicing, went from cartoonish to more like different anime looks. And
Yeah.
then I wanted to get more realistic once I started going to college for artwork. For my art career. So
So recently I ruined Ed, Ed, and Eddie for you, or Larry ruined
no,
Ed, Ed, and
Larry
Eddie
mostly ruined it for me because he ruins everything that I enjoy, which is chocolate, which is my favorite
He's on a
cartoon
big
shows.
strike one with chocolate, I'll tell you that.
Oh my god. So if anybody wants to know what we're talking about, go on YouTube, type in Jawbreaker. That's it. That's what I'm leaving you.
Only
I
if
did
you're
see
not,
this.
but if you are a diehard Ed, Ed and Eddie fan, I recommend please do
That's
not.
That's all I need you to do. Just type in
It
Jawbreaker.
traumatized me. I don't want it to traumatize you.
It kind of traumatized me a little bit, but I got over it.
But it's like, why? They actually have to think these things
The
before
guy's
they
sick.
do it.
Yeah.
The guy's sick. The one that we made you uncomfortable with was the Willy Wonka
one,
The
and I love Willy
one was
I've
really-
never
Wonka.
seen that one.
No, I'll have
You have
Larry.
to watch
I'll have
it.
Larry
Okay.
show it to you the next time.
And now,
I can't
I
talk
got
about
Larry
it.
messaging me once in a while saying, "Oh,
Bring me his jaw.
no, with the window, no, don't. It's okay to window shop or something
Oh,
like that."
yeah,
When
it's
Willy
okay to
Wonka's-
window shop.
you got to watch it to understand.
There you go.
So moving on from KCW, you started moving over to, I guess, other artwork. What was in? I don't want to get to like the wrestling posters that you've done recently, but what was in between the KCW stuff and like what did you used to do in between?
In between,
Because I'm drawing a blank.
Well, during that time, what was it? Was it 2008? 2000? No, not earlier. That
No, 2000 and I think you started 2000 like 12, 2011.
Well, KCW.
Well, KCW ended 2010, but like between 2011 until like I want to
I
say
mostly drew a lot of wrestling because
Yeah.
I'm a diehard wrestling fan since
Yeah.
I'm a kid. My father introduced me to all these wrestlers, and of all the wrestlers, Ric Flair, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Iron Sheik, Macho Man, Undertaker was my favorite.
well, not what a lot of people know is like your drawings do get a lot of traction with the wrestlers.
Yes,
So a lot of people float on Twitter. You put up on
Twitter, Instagram.
People know you. Like the wrestlers know you. Like they know. It's like you would walk into like an art gallery, and be like, oh, that's this one, that's that one. So it's like the wrestlers know your artwork. Like you'll send it to you'll send Jimmy to if you're not around to like
to give it to them.
and Jimmy be like, this is my sister, and they'll know instantly. Oh, it's
Yeah.
you. Yeah, which is pretty good, pretty big.
It is.
Yeah.
It's really, really.
Have you ever
cool.
thought about this idea? So I'm just kind of like thinking from all the wrestlers that have like mentioned you as far as like thanking you for your great artwork and stuff like that. So kind of like with the KCW flyers that you used to do, would you ever consider doing kind of like a collage mashup of like different matches and then tagging like all of them and stuff like that?
Absolutely. I would love to do like a dream match. Like a dream match I would I would love to see and just bring it to life on a piece of paper and just show it and say, hey, can you imagine if this happened? Like if Mankind versus Kevin Owens
The
or
Fiend.
or the Fiend or you get the Fiend versus Triple H, which is a match I've always wanted to see. or Undertaker and Sting, like something like when they're just face to face with each other, they would see that and be like, wow, that would be really
Well, I think, as someone who's not as much of a wrestling fan, I'll give you guys this. To have that sense of imagination towards, like, different wrestlers against each other, it does kind of conspire. Who's going to win this? Like, can you...
So here's a little bit of Gerry trivia here for how much of a wrestling fan he's not. I'm going to talk about two incidents. Nicolle was here for both of them. It was one was that's a nice picture. One is the very first WrestleMania we had at Jimmy's where we were friends with you, Gerry.
Oh yeah.
You came and Joe was like, "Hey, we weren't doing any bets or anything, but we were like, let's just see who gets the most number of wins." Right. So we go like, this match, who's gonna win? So the one match this was at WrestleMania 26.
WrestleMania 26. That was a
so
long
Gerry
while ago.
was like, so we were all like, who's gonna win the match between Edge and Chris Jericho? And we were all like, come on, Edge is gonna win. He just came back. What are you gonna do, right? So we all picked Edge. Gerry, being that one asshole, picked Chris Jericho.
I had no idea who he was.
He had no idea who. And sure enough, who won the match?
The Edge.
Chris Jericho. That bastard. Gerry won. Gerry won. Never watched a wrestling match his entire life.
I didn't watch wrestling at all until I was 20 years old at Jimmy's house.
Won the bet. Gerry won the bet because that one match, it
was unbelievable.
And then the second incident, which is actually a funny incident, he made it to the pre-show of WrestleMania 29.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yes.
And
we were there for that.
He's wearing a banana costume, and he's got the sign that says, "John Cena can't eat me."
You can't eat me, baby.
You can't eat me. And he made the pre-show. He's on the pre-show, and it's just... And one of the wrestling groups, this like last year, one of the wrestling groups, like, I got a picture with this funny guy, and we had no connection. I was like, that's my friend Gerry, or like a completely different like group.
Who was the guy that did?
I don't know. It was some random
God.
guy that took a picture with you.
That's crazy.
Wow.
But
I think the craziest like adrenaline rush was I was able to get to the front with the sign, and I had this one picture. I was holding it up in front of like the entire audience. I've never felt more like a badass in my life that day. I had no idea what was going on. It was worth.
That's what made it perfect.
It was worth the $150 paying for to do all those antics.
Jared's like, I'm just here just for the lols. I did it for the lols. So anyway, so I know you have a lot of people that you follow on Instagram. I know a lot of people
between Twitter and Instagram
that you're influenced by. What are some of the people that you've been influenced by your art style?
Definitely Undertaker. Definitely Bray Wyatt.
No, I'm talking about like people that have drawn things on
the
Instagram.
artists. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's Rob Schamberger, who is well known in WWE because he makes like water paints, and then he shows videos on how he he sketched it out, and then he paints it out, and it's on YouTube, and I was inspired by him.
That's the Canvas for Canvas.
That's
video?
the Canvas for Canvas.
Yeah,
so that's him.
I've seen those. He does really
and I met
job.
him. He's really sweet. I met him and his wife, and they're very, very nice people. Another artist, this artist called Art by Nash.
Yeah, I was going to bring her up.
She does really good work. I've been following her for years, and she is so gifted. She is really very inspiring in how she shades, and then sometimes I would message her like, how do you properly shade the skin to make it look from dark to light? And she would tell me, and then I would practice on my own. Like I drew a picture of AJ Lee years ago when she was behind where Gotham, like a Batman mashup kind of thing.
Was that the Harley Quinn one?
Pretty much, yeah. And her hair was in pigtails, and she messaged me saying, make her under her eyes a little bit darker, just so she has like a contrast of dark and light. And it actually popped, made the picture pop. And I'm like, wow, thank you for that. Like, and there are other artists, like my friend Julie. She's another artist who's a big Bray Wyatt fan like me, and she made a picture of the Fiend that just like had the Joker's colors, and it became a jacket. Like Bray Wyatt made this thing into a jacket, like from Chalkline. If you've seen the site Chalkline, they use different art artworks from other
Oh,
artists. And it's really cool. It's really cool.
I thought you were talking about that cartoon Chalk Zone.
No.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really inspired by other artists that made me better because of them. So
Didn't you also make shirts or clothing?
Years ago when I met Bray Wyatt back in 2015, I remember I designed it on pastel chalk. It was a skull wearing a fedora, and I think said the face of fear.
Yeah.
And on the back of the t-shirt it was like a scarecrow, like a scarecrow with the Hawaiian shirt and the hat with buzzards flying around saying run or something. I don't remember. It was years ago, and I remember putting it on a t-shirt and I gave it to him, and he really enjoyed it. He loved the shirt, and that's all that matters to me. I'm sure he wears it. And, well,
I got to follow up to that. Have you ever met like wrestlers and you kind of find out that they like to do drawing too? Have you ever had like conversations with people and they're like, "Oh yeah, I like drawing"? Like any wrestler that you've met over time?
Not in particular. I know Jerry Lawler is an artist.
Jerry.
Right.
I know Jerry Lawler is an artist, and I think Mick Foley. Can Mick Foley draw too? I think.
No, Mick Foley writes.
He's a writer. Okay, so it's Jerry Lawler. I know he's an artist. I know with the whole McMahon art drawing thing was really inspiring and a beautiful story. So.
Oh yeah,
and
I saw that.
And that's what inspired me to draw realistically.
Yeah, I was gonna transition into like, so you're starting to draw. Are you practicing a lot of realistic?
Little by little, I'm starting to sketch out how to draw an eyeball realistically. Yeah. Then to draw the eye with the eyebrows. Then the fingers on the nails, on the hands, and then the nose. It's all about. It's like all baby steps. So, but until I get them all down pat, then I can start drawing realistic faces, but it takes time, and I usually rush into my drawings. But when it comes to drawing things realistically, it's all about taking as much time. Larry has told me this too, because he has. If you've seen his art, he's got thousands of books, probably more books than I do.
And just folders and
and he has been, and I've seen his work. He's been
drawing.
Seen
the evolution of his work as well.
Yeah, same, and I'm also inspired by him too.
When did you start drawing? Like how, like, do you remember your first drawing? Very first drawing.
My very first drawing, I must have been about 5-6 years old. I remember drawing my family, my parents, my brother, myself, and we had a cat at the time. I'd always draw us all in a row with the sun on the corner, and sometimes I would draw blue, make it look like blue skies. But I remember I'd always draw us because they're all I got. You know what I mean?
Don't you feel like that kind of sets the template for like how you imagine yourself doing other things? If you could draw your family as like the foundation of like your life, it's kind of like, okay, look at this. Like what else can I draw that I could actually emulate? In real life?
Yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, now I don't just draw wrestlers or anime characters. I'm trying to draw other things too. Like I'm starting to sketch out animals too, which I'll be posting very soon. Trying to draw out the fur, how to make the fur not too rough, but like a softer look, you know. So
more I don't say 3D-ish.
Realistic, almost, around
more
there.
Detailed.
More detailed, exactly.
That's the word I'm looking for.
So I'm trying other things.
What's kind of like a color that you don't like, but you've gotten used to it over time to like keep using, and you're kind of like, all right, I at least appreciate it for using it like in different drawings?
That's a good question. I honestly believe, and don't laugh.
Oh God.
And don't laugh. I honestly believe the color green sometimes can be challenging because when you're drawing something like when it's like the color blue of blue eyes, sometimes there could be green in there, and you have to add the details like depending on what the light shading, the light hits on the eyeball, and you have to make sure it's not just a solid blue like this, like the jeans. It's all different shades of blue. It goes from blue to aqua to green, so it's sometimes green can be a challenging color.
Definitely.
So here's something interesting that I think you can agree with, or you could disagree with.
Mm-hmm.
So when you went to school, like you and me, kind of went to similar types of schools. Like you did mostly the graphic design, or like the clothes, like the fashion,
graphic,
and I went to film school. So so you had to take like color theory,
pretty much, yeah.
And I had to take film theory. Now, I mean, they're great classes, but it's like, do you really need to know like? So it's like you can compile. Jerry, you could compile color theory. There's the color wheel. So in film school, you learn the color wheel, where it's like yellow will complement this color on the other side of the spectrum, and vice versa. So you can learn that in a different class, but it's like film theory. It's like, oh, you got to learn about the theory of this and the theory of that. Same thing in color. It's like, where did this color come from? I don't know. It's a color.
You never knew. Like I didn't know that bubblegum pink existed. Like I had no idea.
No, it's like why, like snickerdoodle brown. It's like
or like
not
sky
cares,
blue. What's
like,
the difference between sky blue and baby blue? What's the difference?
It's not who
and
our friend Giuseppe would agree, because he took a lot of the color theory. He was bored by the color theory. He's like, why do I have to learn color theory? It's green. Right. It's green. There's different shades of green.
There's forest green. There's emerald green. There's dark green. There's lime green. There's all these different greens.
I want to see on Jerry's shirt.
See this with the shirt that he's wearing. See all the different colors. It's not just. It looks like it's blue, but it's like a mixture of blue and green. It's like aqua.
We gotta post the shirt up later.
Yeah,
we have to post the picture
on the video. It's just going to be the picture of you.
For the whole duration of the episode.
Yeah, it's Outcast the superheroes, but it's a good class, but it does you don't need a 12-week course.
And you know something else?
Yeah.
It's also the color of your skin.
Yeah.
Your skin has different shades too. See, when I'm starting to do Procreate, when I try to capture a color of the skin, when I want to draw a face, is all different shades. Like like I said before, depending on where the light hits. So when the light's hitting you, it could be not like a nude color. It could be like a pale white, like a pale pink or something. Right. So it's all about different shades.
That's why film and artistry both have similar things. Like when you were talking about lighting. Mm-hmm. Always when you're drawing, people always go, well, where's the light coming from?
Yeah. Exactly.
With photography and film, it's always, well, where's the light coming from?
Without darkness, there can't be light.
Yeah.
Bob Ross said that.
Yeah, and that's
right in front of you.
I'm gonna get into
yes.
I'm gonna get into painting in just a minute. I'm just gonna get into painting in a minute, because I know you've done painting, but it's like when they used to do matte, they still do matte paintings, but when they used to do matte painting, they used to light the matte painting. You used to go, well, where's the light coming from? It's the same thing when you're drawing. Same thing with photography. Same thing with paint. Same thing with painting.
Right.
Which, getting into painting now, you also used to do painting too.
You
dabbled in it.
I dabbled in
painting.
But it came in. It runs in the family. See, my great grandpa Joe, who I never met, but I heard wonderful stories about him. He was a painter.
Yeah.
My great grandpa Pete, who I was fortunate enough to meet, he was a painter. My grandma was a painter, and I guess was next in line to be like painting, but I wasn't.
But you never really got the.
I never really painted a lot. I was mostly into color pencils, and now I got the tablet, the technology now with Procreate. So I'm painting.
What tablet do you got now?
Right now, I have iPad. I just have regular iPad.
Oh,
Pro,
nice.
And,
it's mostly the program.
It's the Pro, iPad
cool.
Pro, and I got the. See, here's a funny story about that. So I saved up weeks and weeks of money to get a tattoo. But then I suggested, I'm like, you know what? I've been looking on YouTube. I was just browsing on Instagram, and I see all these different artists that are drawing with Procreate, with this tablet, with this little stylus.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so cool. I was like, I'm thinking, I might just get this. I might just get this instead of the tattoo, and I ended up doing that. I went to Best Buy and I got myself the iPad and the pen.
So Nicolle, I'll tell you. I'll tell you a really funny story.
It's my new toy.
I'll tell you a really funny story.
Okay.
I have to set up this before I can tell you the funny story. So you know how like on computers they have like what you're talking about with the pen.
Yeah.
So they'll have that program for Photoshop where you can draw on the. I forget what it's called. It's like a pad.
Oh, it's like is it like a computer screen kind of?
But it's like it connects to the computer.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
So there's that. So now I did an internship way back in 2011. You remember Northern Lights, Jerry?
Oh yeah.
So there would be this room. That I don't want to say the door was locked, but you couldn't go in. All the lights were off. You'd hear boom, boom, boom. That's music. People are blaring music. Those are all the graphic designers in the room sitting in the dark doing graphic design work on Photoshop, After Effects, Illustrator, Dreamweaver. But they're all in the dark. They're all blasting music. Metallica. Just
all different music.
All different music. So around like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 4:30 in the afternoon, the door would open up and they'd all walk at. They're all got the 5 o'clock shit. Their eyes would be red. They'd all go to the kitchen, open up the refrigerator door. They'd all grab a beer. They'd all sit there, drink a beer. Takes like 10 minutes. Then they'd all walk back in like soldiers. Just walk back in, close the door, and the music would start again, and they'd continue doing great design. I find that like they do that for like 8 hours, and I'm like,
I don't think.
How do they do?
I mean, it really wouldn't. I don't think it would bother me because I when I'm drawing, I need either music. Yeah. I need music. I mean, it's not that I can't draw in silence. It's just I need something to put me in the mood. Yeah. To put me in the mood with it. So sometimes I would go on YouTube and put calm music on, or I would put.
That's what Larry does. Larry
anything. For Halloween, since Halloween's coming up, I put like a horror theme to put me in the mood for like drawing stuff for Halloween.
Here's another follow up to that. So like when you do have like your music playing as you're drawing, do you kind of switch around the music to kind of like cultivate a final response to like what you're listening to?
Not really. I just keep it. I don't realize as time goes by when I'm done. I don't usually change the music. I just keep it on until I'm officially complete with the piece.
I can't write to music. But when there's a particular scene...
Because you have to think.
Yeah, because you have to think. But when there's a particular scene that I'm writing, like Nicolle knows this, like when there's a particular scene that I'm on, and I have like the perfect music that I'm like, I have to write this scene to this music. I put that song on
exactly.
loop, and I'm just like...
And once you're into it, you literally go.
Larry writes the music, and it's like, I sit there and go, I don't know how he does it. Like, because then I'm listening more to the music, and then when I'm trying to do dialogue, it's like, I can't. And I read it back, I go, that's song lyrics.
Right.
Yeah. No, I do. That's song lyrics. But yeah.
That's really cool.
So with like... Well, let's say with all your artwork that you do over the years, if you had a museum, the Nicolle Fallucca Museum, what would be the first artwork that you've done in your past that you would just have like in front? Like, what's the first thing you would want people to see?
I'm not so sure. That's actually a good question. I mean, if I had to choose, because I think it would be a picture that I drew of my dog. And that was but it was on pastel chalk, because I never drew a dog in my life until after he passed away. And
it's Lucky.
Lucky,
yeah.
My dog Lucky. And I drew a picture of him laying down, and I drew the fur and like the white on his chin, because he actually looked like an old man, you know.
Wow.
And
he started to gray.
I think that would be the first thing I would show everybody, that this was my dog. This was I used to call him my little brother.
Right.
So I think that would be it.
That's what my mom does to my cat. He goes, go to Big Brother, and I go, what's a cat?
But Gino, my other dog Gino, he's my son. I consider my son because I hold him like he's my son. Like, and he wraps his legs and his arms on me.
It's kind of like Lucky being the father, he's the son.
He's a pain in the ass.
He's a pain in the neck, but I love him.
Have you done any artwork of him, Gino?
Not yet, but I am going to draw him definitely in the future. I'm thinking of drawing him on my Procreate, or maybe sketch him out on my book first, then transfer it to my iPad, and then bring out the details of him.
You know what I'm thinking of? Like when you have Lucky and now you have Gino. Can you imagine doing a picture of you in your pastime with Lucky, and then like you meet your future self with like Gino, and they're kind of like interchange with each other?
That actually is very nice. Very, very nice one. That's very nice. Nice to think about. I like that.
Yeah, because it kind of like that's kind of like where your president is. So so when you think about it, it's kind of like, okay, where have you been grounded from? Like,
Right.
what's your stem roots as far as like where you've come from as a person?
Exactly. That's really. I like that. I like that a lot. Nice.
Very nice, Christian.
Very
just
nice.
I'm
like,
shaking
whoa.
my head because I'm trying to think of other things.
Well, you said you wanted to talk about how long I've known you guys.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
Which
so
I've known you
Nicole-
forever.
Yeah, Nicole's known
I'm
me.
guilty by association.
So
I've known almost everybody forever.
Okay, so I'll fine. Everybody's waiting for it. I'll do the impersonation of Jimmy. You know how long I've known this man? I've known
This
him for
son of a
20
bitch.
This son of a bitch. I know him for
This
20 years.
bastard. Look at this bastard.
Look at this big bastard. Look
No,
at
he would say that about Jerry.
Yeah, he welcome Jerry. Go
Sexy.
no up to Kenny, up to our friend Kenny. He'll go. Look at this big bastard.
He
Look at him."
can't. He really cannot wait to see him in that King costume. Right?
Oh my God.
He's
It's
like,
not gonna
please.
happen, but-
He's like, please.
At the time that we're taping this is about a week before Halloween, so
Oh, God.
he's been trying to get our really tall friend Kenny to dress up as Kane, and it's not working. So I don't know.
No.
It's not working. But Jimmy, I've known Jimmy for 20 years.
gonna have
He's
to
like, I
drag-
know Jimmy for 20 years.
It's gonna have to drag him out as the Undertaker.
Well,
at that point.
the thing is Jimmy. I've known Jimmy for 20 years, but it's like my parents have known his parents. My dad's like best friend with your dad's cousin.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like it's like it's been inbred in the family. And my aunt went to high school with your grandma Diane.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like it's been, and of course my mom.
Small world.
And of course my mom, lived in South Beach, so she knew.
Aw.
So she knew.
My pop.
No, your cousin.
Oh, my cousin
Yeah.
Johnny.
No. Twinkle Little Star.
My cousin Vito.
Yeah, Vito. There you go.
Vito.
I was blanking on the name yet. So Vito, she knew Vito. That was like the big thing when she was growing up. Like, oh my God, there's a hit song, and he comes from South Beach.
I was in ShopRite, the old shop. Well, now it's now the old ShopRite. Now I was getting dog food, and I heard the song "My Little Star." I was like, "Oh, that's my cousin Vito!" And everyone's looking at me like I'm nuts. Like, no, I'm not kidding. That's my cousin Vito.
I know him. That's my cousin. I know him. Everyone's looking at you like, oh, step
my
away from the
cousin-
crazy lady.
I always loved telling everybody that my cousin Vito was in Goodfellas, and he was in the new movie with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino.
Oh,
and Joe-
the Irishman.
the Irishman. He made a character like he was reading the newspaper. I'm like, that's my cousin Vito.
Jerry, you know where they shot the Irishman, right?
Oh, I know exactly what that is.
Okay.
But rest in peace to that spot.
Right, rest in peace, yeah. So I mean, Jerry, well, pretty much for 10 years, and unfortunately, as Joe would say, I've known this kid, unfortunately, for 10 years, for too long.
Don't you feel like in our group, Nicole? Don't you feel like we're just a collection of characters that are meant to be like a show at some point?
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely.
We're
Without
sitcom.
question.
We're sitcom. We're the filmmakers.
The filmmakers. The filmmakers. Oh, yes.
Now, if you were to compare us to any show that you've seen, let's say Jimmy has 5 of us over. You see us interacting with each other. What's the first show that you would compare us
Now,
to?
what would the 5 people be? But besides you,
Well,
so it would
what
be.
show? What show?
That's what we're gonna try to figure out.
Yeah.
Let's say your expected 5 or 6 that you know are gonna come to Jimmy's house.
I'm trying to. Let me
Well,
think.
I
This is
mean-
something I have to think about.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because there's a lot of good shows.
Lou would say Seinfeld.
I love Seinfeld.
Yeah. You would probably say something stupid, Jerry, like Joe would
2.5
say
Men.
no, Joe would say Friends or like Curb Your Enthusiasm or something stupid like that.
I honestly do not know. Either maybe Seinfeld or maybe The Big Bang Theory, because we're all nerds, probably.
In some
Oh,
way,
In
Jimmy's-
a way.
in some way,
Jimmy's-
shape, or form, that's definitely true.
In a way.
Jimmy Sheldon.
Jimmy is the most Italian Sheldon man.
He's
of
he's
all
definitely Italian Sheldon.
I'm probably Leonard. Lou is definitely
He's
Howard.
Howard. Yeah.
Howard.
I actually enjoyed
Fine,
that show.
I'll say I'm Kuthapalito.
Oh, Christian.
Because everybody gets my heritage wrong, so I might as well just say I'm Kuthapalito.
I guess just kind of like a final wrap off of everything. So, like for you, Nicole, as the pandemic has been occurring for everybody, what's kind of been like your creative inspirations going forward? Like, have you worked on anything that you feel like you couldn't have in the past?
Well, during the pandemic, it has been pretty hard for me. So well, we all know my priest passed away from this horrible pandemic.
Who's Jimmy's godfather?
Which is my brother's godfather. We loved him he was more than just a priest to us. He was basically our Mr. Rogers.
Right.
He was not a mean bone in his body. He loved everybody. He loved everyone, big and small, young and old, no matter what you were. He would be there for you. And his death really hurt me, and it mentally, especially mentally, hurt me. So it's like I couldn't concentrate. It took me a while to still get over what happened. I'm still not getting over it, because I've known him since I was born. He baptized me. He was my brother's godfather. He married my brother and sister-in-law, and he baptized my nephew. But he was more than just a priest. He was just a part of our lives.
He got me out of trouble in grammar school. So he got
was,
you out of trouble in grammar school.
Oh yes, he did. Oh.
He got Jimmy out of
That was the only thing I enjoyed about Holy Rosary. Was one of the big things I really enjoyed about Holy Rosary was him.
Yeah, we all went to the same grammar school.
When we would go to church, remember when we would go to church in the afternoon?
Yeah.
I couldn't wait because I knew he would be there.
Whether
Whether he be the pastor or not, he would definitely be there. And I'd be like, "Hi, Father Richard," and he'd be like, "Hi, Nicolle," and I just miss him. I miss giving him hugs, and he would give great hugs back. I miss talking to him, and my mom was very close with him too. Like, she would speak to him almost every week, just to see how.
Yeah, every time there was a party at your house, I'd walk in. There he
was. And this year is going to be tough, especially for me, because we both are born the same month, and we every year when he would come to my birthday, I would give a cake. We would share a cake, because his birthday is I completely forgot, what was it, the 23rd, I think. I could be wrong, but
he's a Christmas baby.
Yeah. So I would share a cake with him along with my birthday. So this year is going to be really rough. It's going to be extremely rough. I mean, I don't think he would want that for me, but still, I know I'm going to be crying like a baby that day. Yeah. So
I think
it's
I think nonetheless, though, based on his impact and what his legacy has turned into, there's always going to be a lot of things that you look to as far as his guidance, whether he is here or not.
Right.
And in that case, you're going to feel compelled to look at him as a mentor to you, no matter what happens in your life.
Without question. And I remember days after he passed away, I drew a picture of him, and it was it was my second attempt of drawing him. If I can get it up, I'll show you a picture of him if I can find it. It was the second drawing I did of him, and I couldn't believe how realistic it looked.
Oh wow, yeah.
And what I did was I added
never saw that before.
I added the halo on the back to make him like a saint, because he really is like a saint. So, and I couldn't believe how realistic he looked. So the first attempt, I wasn't satisfied with it. I'm like, you know what? Let me do it one more time. And then I sketched him out, and then I started see how I did the colors, like how the shading is from light to dark.
Yeah, the details, like, incredible.
That's basically what his skin was. That's like how his skin was like dark, but you saw the light, like from light to darkness. You see that, and his smile and everything. So yeah, and I try to speak to the church. I want to give them a piece of this drawing to them, so say maybe they could hang it up somewhere, anywhere. It doesn't matter. Anywhere.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a way to honor him for sure.
He is definitely missed by anybody that knew him. Probably would say the same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
100%.
One of a kind.
Way to end it on a somber note. No.
But when it comes to friends now, who else? Joe, of course. I've known him, and I remember meeting him I remember he was so young, like he had that baby face. And now
he had hair.
No, he had that baby face, and now he's gotten old, he's more mature and stuff. So no, but he was always one of the most loyalist friends, one of the nicest people, one nicest people ever.
Well, we'll be seeing him in a little bit.
We'll be seeing him soon, so it'll be nice to see him.
So anyway, let's wrap this up.
Nicolle, promote anything you want for all your social media. Take it away on that.
Oh, yes. You guys can follow me on Instagram or on Twitter. I'm probably not going to be on Facebook because I'm probably going to go on a long vacation with that. So maybe Instagram I'll stay on, and Twitter, so you can follow me at Art by Fallucca. So it's F as in Frank, Allucca. Follow the artist.
Woohoo.
Love it.
All right, Gerry. So that's it. That's a wrap.
Episode 3,
Episode
season
3.
3. Wrapped.
Season 3, season 4, whichever the hell we're calling it. All right, everybody. You like this video? Like it. Leave a comment on what subjects we want to talk about next, because we're always looking for all the topics. Who you want to see us talk to, if they're accessible, we would love to get them on and whatnot. I have a whole bunch of projects that are coming up soon that I will love to promote in the next couple of months. I can't talk about it now, but they are currently in various stages of development, pre-production, and shooting, so I'll be glad to talk about that soon. Gerry's got a whole bunch of things popping. No, he doesn't. But
I have nothing to talk about.
He's got nothing to talk about. So you can follow Gerry at Gerard Uselli.
You can find me. You can find me at my address.
Yeah.
And thank you, too, for having me. I
no
appreciate
problem.
it very
You
much.
got it.
No problem. All right. Like the video, comment, subscribe, and we're out of here.